What's up, guys? So over 2 years ago, I kicked off a little web reality series called System Config. The objective? To find a person in desperate need of a new PC and build them the best possible rig within their price range. The show turned out to be a hit with its first few episodes, but also proved to be a lot of work. So I decided a while back that I would only shoot new episodes when the opportunity presented itself naturally. Well, my friends, after finding a man on a quest for smoother workflows, higher frame rates, and a reason to ditch his old aging laptop, it was time for me to dust off the old camera that I haven't used since yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is episode 5 of System Config. Enjoy.
Hey everyone, my name's Jason. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I'm looking to build a mid-range PC that I could use to play games and also video edit. With this PC, I'm looking to run Adobe Premiere for editing, and I want to play Counter-Strike, Overwatch, Evolve, and Battlefield 1. Currently, I'm using a MacBook Pro that I bought in 2010 for college, and now it's starting to get a little slow, and it's workable, but it's a pain. My budget for this rig is about $1,200. Looking to game at 1080, so nothing crazy. Hoping to get a couple good years out of this rig before having to upgrade. Overall, I'm hoping with this PC that I'll be able to increase my editing productivity and get back to gaming.
Alright, let's crack this thing open. So this is your old MacBook Pro, mid-2010, 13-inch, and it looks like you kept it up in pretty good shape, actually. There's like just a few minor scuffs, basic wear and tear. However, I did notice this power cable here. This is just an amazing hack job of duct tape and other things. What went on here?
Well, the cable started to frill at the end. To prevent any further damage, I decided to take preventative measures.
Nice. Seems like you've done a bang-up job. No sparks flying out yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay, cool. Well then, it looks like we're building you a new system just in time before it explodes. Cool, so let's talk about the specs really quickly on this thing. We're not going to go too into detail here, but we've got a 2.66 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo. So you got a dual-core processor, which, again, back in the day would have been pretty killer, but now we're starting to see a lot more programs like Premiere or like Final Cut take advantage of more cores, as well as games. So, maybe a quad-core is in your immediate future. I'm not going to say too much right now. And finally, we've got some graphics in here from GeForce, from NVIDIA, I should say, GeForce 320M. So a mobile processor, several generations back, several going back to the old ancient times, and 256 megabytes of VRAM. Yeah, holy smokes. You did say you have Csgo installed on this computer?
Yeah, I do.
And you have Final Cut 7 as well?
Yes.
Okay, so let's possibly do some testing here, because I'm really curious to see just how this thing performs. Obviously, you've kind of told us that it's really sluggish, but yeah. I want to see it for myself, damn it. I want to see it. So why don't we go ahead and fire up, let's do Final Cut first. Alright, cool. Alright, so we just imported a 5-minute clip in here. It's a 4K file, and it's just a simple clip of me building a computer and what have you. We just dropped it into the timeline. Let's go ahead and play it back and see exactly how smooth or lack thereof the experience is. Okay. Wow. So it's just completely stopped. We're dropping frames like they're hot, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, everything is just being bogged down right now. And granted, 4K is a pretty crushing test, and it probably is a bit unfair to test it on a 6-year-old MacBook Pro. However, I did want to use this file and show this example because it's also what we're going to be using when we test your new PC, just to give a real apples-to-apples comparison to show really how far we've come from this old system. Alright, so we were just in the heat of battle here in CSGO, and it took us probably about 2 or 3 minutes just to load the map, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was estimating roughly, but it took quite a while on that mechanical drive. But we're in the game now. You're actually doing fairly well for the low FPS that we're getting right now, which is hovering at 26, 30 FPS. Frequent dips into the 20s. I saw like an 18 in there. The only time you get anything over 35 FPS is when you die, and there's just like a screen, like an image. But it's super choppy. I mean, I'm sure at some point, if you played enough of it, you might get used to it,
Yeah.
but it's really not ideal, right?
No.
This is just bad. Anything under 30 FPS, I mean, 30 FPS is like the bare minimum that you should be dipping into these days for some smooth playback, right? So we're definitely tapping into that.
Yeah.
24 frames per second now. This has been very insightful, and I think we're gonna see some mad gains, bro, on your new system, which I think I want to talk about right now, and we should probably look at the parts for that and then build it. But we're doing something a little bit different on system config this time. I'm not actually going to let you see any of the parts. Well, you already know what the parts are, but I'm not going to let you see the finished build until it's completely done.
Okay.
So, so yeah, you're gonna have to skedaddle, and then we're gonna build this thing. Cool.
Yep.
All right, get the hell out of here. What are you waiting for? Get out. Alright, so as Jason mentioned, apart from gaming, he'll also be editing frequently on this new system, so I felt it was only right to hook him up with a chip that supports hyperthreading. And since we don't quite have the budget for X99, the Core i7-6700K seemed like an ideal choice. Overclocking should also shave some time off of those video renders while speeding up his overall workflow. Helping those overclocks stay cool is the CryoRig H7. Tech PowerUp gave this tower cooler an Editor's Choice Award and called it the new mainstream cooler to beat. For memory, we have the 2x8GB kit of Corsair Vengeance LPX DDR4 at 2133 that we'll be using to populate the MSI Z170A Crate Gaming 3X motherboard. This board goes easy on your wallet without skimping on too many features like M.2 PCIe Gen 3x4, U.2, SLI and Crossfire, and USB 3.1. Now, choosing a video card for this build was interesting because when I was compiling a parts list back in June, there were several new GPU offerings in our midst, some of which, like the GTX 1060, hadn't even been publicly announced yet. So going off of what myself and the rest of the world knew at the time, I went with the RX 480 8GB reference model, branded by MSI. Now, from my own personal testing in weeks prior, I'm very confident in the card's 1080 gaming and VR abilities. However, I've told Jason to keep an eye out for reviews on the similarly priced GTX 1060 once they're available, so he can decide ultimately which card wields the better value for his needs. For our media files, we have a WD Black 2TB hard drive, and for our boot drive, we have a 250GB Samsung 850 EVO, which is still one of the best bang for the buck options in NAND land. Juicing the system is the EVGA Supernova 750-watt power supply. The unit features what I thought were all black cables based on the product pictures, but alas, we find ourselves in ketchup and mustardville. On the upside, we get a quiet ball-bearing fan and a semi-modular design with an 80+ bronze certification backed by a 5-year warranty. Last but not least, all of this beautiful hardware will end up inside of the Eclipse series P400S from Fantex. The S model includes internal sound dampening material and modular vent covers on top to prioritize silence or airflow. For an $80 case, Fantex has raised the bar for value cases with steel construction, a side panel window, and a healthy amount of radiator support with room for a 360 at the front and 120 at the back. And just because they're nice guys, Fantex also offered to send Jason some of their black power supply extensions and magnetic RGB LED strips which can be controlled via the case's front panel switch. Lucky guy. And with that, the total cost of our build comes out to just north of Jason's budget, leaving us with a capable little gaming PC that should easily put his old MacBook Pro to shame. I suppose there's only one way to verify that though. Building time! so the moment has come. Your PC build went very smoothly, I will say. The case we were building in was incredibly easy to kind of get all the parts in there. Cable management was right on par as well. But the time has come for me to actually show this to you for the first time, and this is not a joke, guys. Jason has never seen this PC before all built. He knows the parts and he knows all the pieces going into it, but I've strictly kept him off limits to this part of the video until now. So you ready for it?
Yeah.
Jason, here is your new PC.
Ta-da!
So, as you can see, it's got a fairly big window. I know you were mentioning that you wanted to kind of be able to see some of the bling that was going on in there. So definitely, it's also illuminated by some LEDs. Fantex did throw in some LED strips for us, or for you, and it's actually connected to the case, the LED strips are. Yeah. So there's an actual LED button on the chassis that's built in, and you can cycle between different colors. Also, I did want to tell you that there's a fan controller, so if you, let's say you're in the heat of battle, maybe your system's getting a little warm, you can crank up the fan speed, and you can kind of just tell based on the acoustics, and you can even put your hand here and feel, you know, more or less airflow going through the case. You've also got a couple options here. So you have these panels that are magnetic. They pop right off. Obviously, they've got, if you want to tailor the system for silence, you can leave them on because they've got some sound dampening material underneath. However, if you want to open it up just for a bit more airflow and cooling, you can take them off, and the case also does come with some dust filters that you can slap on here so it doesn't accumulate dust. But what do you think so far?
This is my PC?
This is your PC, yeah. It's definitely...
Man.
Do you like the way it looks? Hopefully, I didn't screw anything up too badly.
Oh, this is like, for me, like probably the greatest thing
Awesome.
that's happened.
Awesome, and I hope that I really hope that it serves you well for several years to come, and I think you're going to enjoy it even more once you start gaming on it and editing with it. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, do you know where you're going to put this yet? Like, are you going to put this on the floor? Like, you're not planning on putting this on the floor, are you?
No, I have a desk, so I'm thinking desk is probably
on the desk?
Yeah.
Okay, then I don't have to kill you. I can put this away.
Okay.
So I think right now what we should do is hook it up, maybe to a monitor and some other peripherals, and test it out. Kind of run it through some of the same games or testing that we did with your MacBook Pro and see how we fare. How about it?
Oh, sounds good.
All right, let's do it. All right, so now we've made our way into Adobe Premiere Pro. This is CS6. And unfortunately, we can't do a straight apples-to-apples comparison with Final Cut because it's not supported on Windows, which is, of course, what we're running, Windows 10 64-bit here on your new system. But we're going to use the same 4K 5-minute clip, and we're just going to play it back in the timeline, see exactly what we can get away with here in terms of quality settings. We can actually adjust the quality settings of our playback preview monitor here. So if you right-click that and go down to playback resolution, let's just do full. Let's not play any games here. All right, so just go ahead and hit space when you're ready. We can see here that we're actually getting some really smooth playback. This is a full quality playback. Looks pretty smooth, right? Okay, cool. And we also did do a render test already. I'm not going to put you guys through it because obviously time and stuff. But we rendered out this, actually I duplicated this clip and I made it a 10-minute long file, a 10-minute long timeline. And we rendered that out, H.264 in about 16 minutes and 26 seconds, which is not bad for 4K.
Yeah.
So I think you're in good shape for 1080 for sure. And on that note, I think we should also take a look at some gaming performance. let's get into the fun stuff. So let's go ahead and switch gears to maybe Csgo, since that's what we tried out on the MacBook. Let's fire that up. All right, guys. So Jason has just planted the bomb here in Csgo, and he's taken out bots left and right due to the insanely high number of frames that he's getting per second. We're at about 290 right now, nearly 300 frames per second, going from a measly 20 to 25 FPS with your MacBook Pro. Obviously, CSGO isn't really a graphically intensive game by any means. I actually did run a test of GTA 5 before you got here, and saw max settings, 1080, and got about 61 frames per second on average, which is really solid. I think it probably dipped into the 40s at some point, low 40s at the worst, which is still a really smooth experience overall. And I think you're going to be really happy with the system. How's it feel right now?
It's light years ahead of what I had before.
Probably like night and day, right?
Yeah, totally.
So, overall, build complete. I'm going to be sending Jason home with this PC. It seems like he's already getting too comfortable here in my office here. So, thank you, Jason, for being a part of this.
Thanks. Yeah,
and thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think of this little series here. Maybe we'll do more of them in the near future. And toss me a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Guys, have a good one. I'll see y'all in the next video.